I want to ask what happened while we were driving over here, because I was behind you. I was behind you at the light, right? And I see like you're in like the outside right turn lane.
It's because we have to go
to inner right turn lane, right?
Yeah.
And you're still like kind of pulling forward, and I'm like, okay, a little bit bold, but like it seems like he's good. And then I see the right turn light turn green, and you stop. And you're waiting there for like 10 seconds. And I'm like, should I honk at him? What's wrong? Is he having a heart attack?
It happens too often.
Heart attacks?
Yeah. So, how do I easily explain this? It started off by saying, yeah, I'm colorblind, so...
Okay, fair.
I was really paying attention to the light, because I hardly didn't tell if it's red or green most of the time. But I could tell with the position of it, but I wasn't paying attention this time. What I'd usually do is focus on the car in front of me, that's like moving forward, and the person in front of me took the right turn, obviously, because the light was green, like you said. But I didn't know that. I took the right turn and was like, okay.
Well, the light wasn't green at first.
Oh, okay.
Like, you were doing a turn on red. And I was like, okay. Like, usually that's a little bit harder to pull off when you're in the inner right turn lane, like you were, right? So I was like, okay, that's a little bit risky, but like, it seems like there's no other cars coming.
I know exactly what's happening.
But then you stopped right as the light like turned green, and you just waited there.
Excellent. So I was taking that right turn because I thought I saw the light as red as the dude took it, and I was like, oh, I shouldn't go. I don't know if there's cars coming or not. I saw no car moving. No cars are moving, and I froze. I was like, because I could move off of motion when I drive. I'm like, uh-oh. I don't know if I have the right of way. There's no other cars going like to and fro from my side.
There's nothing about to hit me.
I
should wait.
There's nothing moving, so I was like, once I move, something's gonna start moving, and that's gonna be me, but also something else that might hit me. But. So that's what happened. I just froze and was like, nothing's moving. And then I saw the left lanes turning and like, okay, I'm good now, which is the left lane that allows the right lane to turn. And yeah, that's awesome. I had no clue the light was green. The thing is, too, I saw you behind me. I'm like, I know I came to like a pretty abrupt stop, and I saw you behind me. I'm like, at least not. Fred's gonna have questions about that.
Dude, what if instead of like instead of the categories we have today, right, for living things and all that. Everything, living and non-living, was categorized by bony and boneless.
Oh. I don't know why. I don't know why that statement horrifies me so much or disgusts me. It's like, yeah, yes, this one's very bony, or this one's boneless.
You go to a restaurant.
Can I get a boneless pizza?
Can I get you guys anything to drink? They're like, you're like, yeah, can I get a water? Sure, would you like that boneless?
I hate it. What? It doesn't affect how much ice is in it, though, so you still gotta ask for light ice.
Light ice, heavy bone.
Can I get light or heavy bone on that? No, sir. Excuse me? You can't go light or heavy on the bone. What are you, stupid? You get bone or no bone.
You're like, alright, I'll get it with bone. They show up the whole, like, glass of water. It's like poured into this hollowed out bone. You just have to suck it out like marrow.
Thought for a second there before you said anything that you said it was just gonna be like all bone, no water. And I was gonna be like, yeah, that was
just a glass of bones.
And then getting it without bone, you're like, I'm sorry, I actually just wanted water. Can I get one without bone? They're like, oh, fine, God. Like, they're visibly annoyed with you. They bring back a glass of no water, no ice. It's just an empty glass. And you're like, oh, where's the water? And they're like, what water? You asked for bone, no bone.
Bone, hold bone.
Can I get bone but with boneless?
I mean, if there is a boned and boneless version of everything, that would include bones, right?
Can I get my child boneless? Sure, here's your puddle of flesh. Ah, my cute adorable baby.
Dude, that's... I love the idea that you, like, order your child as you're giving birth. They're like, okay, you like boned or boneless? Can I get boneless? That sounds a lot easier. Okay, sure. They just snap their fingers. You're like, huh. Okay. Time to produce some baby jelly, I guess.
Don't all babies come out as jelly, though, at first, when you think about it? Bones are developed.
When you're born?
Yeah, your bones aren't, like, I mean, like, aren't they still, like, basically not hardened versions? They're, like, what is it called? Like, still mostly flexible? Or bendy? Bendy bones.
I don't know, but if so, I hate babies. I mean...
I'm pretty sure that's a thing. I'm pretty sure it's like, children or, babies have, like, undeveloped bone structures where they're, like, more flexible and harder to break.
Huh. I guess
Imagine them like
sense.
a rubber ball. Now, who wants to play dodgeball? Unrelated, I swear.
Dude, in that case, if boneless is normal babies, then if you offer your baby bone, they're just like rock hard. You're like 100% guaranteed to die in childbirth, but you get a wrestler baby.
I'd do it without hesitation. Absolutely.
That's how Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was born. His mother was the one and only person to pick boned baby. Dude, you know what I love the idea of, though?
Mm.
Like, someone from our universe goes to that universe. They're getting used to the idea of everything being either boned or boneless.
Right, right.
They go to KFC.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, yeah, can I get, like, some boneless chicken? They're like, chicken doesn't come boned or boneless. What's wrong with you? Now, would you like your soda to have bones in it or not?
What's wrong with you? Ordering your chicken boned and boneless? You fucking idiot.
Like,
No.
But don't chickens themselves, like, have bones? How do they move around? They're just like, I don't know, look at our chicken farm over there. They glance in the corner. There's all these, like, jelly chicken blobs gliding around.
Would they be like pre-made chicken nuggets then? You gotta do is kill them and pop them in the machine. You don't need to extract any bones or nothing because they don't got them.
Exactly.
They're already just...
Dude, boneless chicken comes from boneless chickens.
Really though, when you think about it,
Yeah.
it just makes sense.
It's the most efficient way.
Okay.
No, the warp engines can't handle it. It's too much slop.
I don't care about that, Commander. I'm turning this slorp all the way up to 11. That only goes up to 10. Exactly. Why are you giving me your bag?
Is that mine?
It's definitely not
So
mine.
You set yours over here. Okay.
Hey, I know you got your soup and all, but do you want mine too?
Dude, if you're gonna turn the slurp up to 11, you're gonna need a
I'm
lot
gonna
of soup.
need all. No one man should have all that soup. No, listen. I won't get mad if you spill it all over my keyboard, but I'll get very angry. There's a
That
difference.
sounds fine.
There's a difference.
Angry is worse. I just want you to know.
That's what
I
you
won't
know.
be mad, but I
No,
will
we'll
be furious.
You will die. I just want
Just
to
like a kid like throws a baseball through their window. Dad's like having a chat with them. He's like, "Now listen, son. I want you to know.
I'm not mad.
I'm not mad, but I am homicidal. I'm gonna kill you for this. You have 5 seconds to run.
I'll give you a 5-second head start. It won't do much.
I have a gun right here, but it'll make the target practice more interesting."
I just want to let you know I'm not giving you this time frame to run effectively. I just need to load the gun. I forgot to load it this morning.
Usually I load it every morning in case you throw a baseball through our window, but
I didn't expect today to be the day.
yeah. The one time you let your guard down, you forget to shoot your son.
Alright, where do you want it? Arm, leg, heart?
Well, can I have it in the arm? Okay, so heart.
Alright, heart it is.
I wasn't asking because you have a choice. I just thought it would be good to know how much you were not enjoying your death.
Sorry, that got me. A father being like, I just want to know how much you're suffering, kiddo. Having a great day at practice today? Yeah, I don't give a shit. I just wanted to know how much you're suffering.
Did you have a good day at school? Actually, the other kids have been calling me names because... Good, that brings me lots of joy.
Oh, yes. More. Get back in class. School's out for the day. No, it ain't. Get back
That's
there.
it. We're getting you braces, but my teeth are perfect. We'll fix that.
Not for long, it ain't. I don't know why people think we'd be terrible fathers.
Yeah, no idea. You know, at my like old school, I went like kindergarten through 8th grade, and in 8th grade, you were supposed to have to do like this baby project thing where you like take care of a fake baby that keeps track of how well you take care of it. Have you heard of those?
Yeah. No.
My class never ended up having to do it, actually. They stopped, like, the year before us.
I
But
think for our school, you had to take a certain elective to have it done.
Okay.
But either way, go ahead.
My school, you didn't actually, like, choose which classes you were in. It was just a really tiny school, so everyone in the same grade went to all the same classes. Unless you were, like, advanced, in which case you would go to the class above you's classes. Yeah. Anyway, I remember like talking about that project to someone. I was like, yeah, I feel like I won't want to bother with taking care of it, so I just tie it to the ceiling fan and listen to it scream for entertainment. They were like, "Wow, please never become a parent. You're gonna tie your child to the ceiling fan and just turn it on, watch him go."
That explains why I didn't see you till high school though, since you had like your thing was kindergarten through 8th grade.
Mm.
That's rough. That's
Yeah.
weird, at least from my perspective.
It is definitely weird, but the school was like small. I think by the time I left, there were like 150 or so kids going there, K through 8, so that's like an average of 20 per class.
Yeah.
And it used to be smaller back when I first got there.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't start going there though till 2nd grade. Some kids were there like all the way through, which is kind of crazy. It's like, imagine going to a different school after that.
Yeah. And seeing how many kids there are.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, that and like, you've been with the same people for that long.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then you just, it was already like, for me, high school felt like it was super short compared to that.
I bet.
So I guess I was there for 7 years.
For me, I think it felt long because my first school was like Pleasant Ridge, but it like closed down and turned into like a what is it, private school.
Oh.
So I went through that for like most of it though, like kindergarten through 3rd or 4th grade.
Okay.
And then I transferred to the other elementary school in the area, the only like other one in the area.
Yeah.
To finish off the 5th grade.
Hmm.
I was there for 1 year.
Wow.
Or 2, 1 or 2. And
Weird.
yeah, it was very weird. And then, middle school for 3 grades, and then high school was 4, so it was about the same as the elementary school, but I had a better concept of time, or at least it felt longer.
Right.
Because high school is just more and more exhausting.
Yeah. There's more going on in general.
Yo, I remember my first school experience too. It was like, I was excited to go to school, excited to meet other people, because it's the first time I've ever like made contact with other people was in school through kindergarten, and the teacher just fucking sucked. Like I was colorblind, or I was colorblind, and I wasn't very good at English. Still not am.
Nice.
Let's move on. But I was very good at math, and I was like doing math 2 through 3 grades above my current level, and she hated that. She hated how inconsistent I was, and how much she felt like I was just basically messing with her in a way. Because I wouldn't be able to do the simple like English things, or be able to color correctly according to the
That's all.
the thing
Stupid kid can't color correctly.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, you're like in the corner doing calculus.
Essentially, it was like the pages or the pictures that she would give us would have like, oh, color this and here and there. It's kindergarten.
Yeah.
And I'd color in all the wrong colors because I didn't know I didn't know I was colorblind, and all the things. I didn't read the little thing on the crayons that says the color, because I figured like colors were what I thought they were.
Yeah.
And I would color it all incorrectly, and then she would talk to the principal about it, and then my parents come in like, yeah, he's colorblind, and he's like, oh. But then the teacher just couldn't accept that as like a fact. Like, no, he's a fucking...
A lot of people are colorblind though. Like, how is she not have to deal with that?
She's a horrible teacher. Basically, all around though, ruined my experience in school to begin with, like the first bit, and I instantly like lost all confidence in myself.
I got kind of lucky because I think at first, from what I've heard, my memory of me as a younger person is very limited.
Genius.
But like my teachers thought I was stupid because I just like wouldn't pay attention in class at all. And also, as you know, I mean, I can be a little bit scatterbrained occasionally.
Yeah, understandable.
By that I mean like a lot.
Yeah. Wait, what now?
Huh?
Sorry. All right.
And then one of my teachers was finally like, okay, but what if we take this stupid kid and make him do like more advanced stuff? And it worked. I guess I just was bored.
Brain. You're the essence of like, don't come at me with this weak shit as a child.
Pretty much. I also remember, I don't know if I've told you this before or not. I don't remember this actually, but I've been told that apparently like I was just like god awful with social cues as a child. So like my teacher would say something like, okay, everybody, you can now come over to the mat for like the Pledge of Allegiance and all that. You know how they'd have like the little carpet in kindergarten or whatever. They would just, and I would just stay sitting in my desk. Because I was like, okay, well, she said I can, but I don't feel like it, so. Yeah.
Yo, I was a real Jippy child. I was a real right arsehole. But I did these like very very different things than what a normal child would probably do. Something that you would imagine like an adult that's been through the depression would do.
Okay.
But essentially, whenever I got food as a child, I would always put a portion of it away for later. I would like store it or...
Is that an adult who's been through the depression or like a squirrel child?
I mean, are all adults just squirrels that's been through the depression? You gotta ration.
All adults are
you gotta
just
ration what
squirrels.
you get, man. But in like elementary school again, in kindergarten, I would like during lunchtime eat a decent portion of my food, like 70%, store 30% away, and then like later in the day I would get hungry again, as all kids would do, like all the other kids do. And I would bust out during nap time, and like everyone would roll out the mats, and then I'd just be on my mat, and I'd be, yeah, and I would just like pull out the rest of my 30% of my food and eat it, and then all the other kids would be like, "How do you still have food?" I'm like, "Bitch, I didn't fucking save my food. You fucking idiot." Never been through depression before, have you, idiot? Fucking, what are you, dumb?
People are like, yeah, you need to have 3 meals a day and sleep for 8 hours. And you're like, you got that backwards, right? 8 meals a day, sleep for 3 hours.
You guys are doing this wrong.
Oh, dude, okay. This is only, like, vaguely related.
Okay.
But, well, I didn't, like, save food like that. I have always kind of been prone to, like, hoard stuff. I mean, you've seen my room.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, at my old school, we all just went to the same classes, right? And especially, I think, in the earlier grades, we wouldn't go between classrooms. The teachers would just come to us for the different classes. Like, a teacher would swap in each period. High school was a super weird transition for me because everything's way different. I was not familiar with the concept of, like, choosing your own classes and going to different places. Anyway, so what that meant is that we had like our own personal desk, and they had like little like holes where you're supposed to store your books and then maybe some pencils and stuff.
Right. Thank you.
Mine was always just like filled with junk. We'd have to clean it out at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like it'd be like a surprise thing for me because I had no idea what I had put in there throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
I think one time I found like a flower in there and a bunch of grass in like 8th grade or something, and I was like, when did I put this here? Why? Why is this here? It's always an adventure.
I think we had something similar. We definitely had a culture shock as well on a transition at some point. I think it was in middle school. We did not have the teachers come to us through every period, like you said. It was more or less we had one singular teacher teaching like all these subjects, and then maybe one other one that we would go and meet for like one period and then come back. For me, that was math because I was in a higher tier math grade, so I just swapped over to that math teacher and then came back. And that was like that 7th grade, and then 8th grade switched it all around. Maybe? Or was it 6th grade? One of the grades on the transition to high school flipped it all around, and we had like multiple different teachers, and I was like, oh, I see. I'm sorry. Man, imagine school being like, yo, we're gonna prepare you for life, but honestly, they're just preparing you for the next grade.
Dang.
Throughout the entirety of your school career.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah. And all the attempts they put into, like, teach you stuff that in theory could be applicable always just feels kind of half-hearted.
You can always tell that teacher that does enjoy teaching, though, because they just make the lessons more fun, entertaining.
In fairness, something I've heard is that, like, even for classes that aren't applicable in the real world as much, like for most people, math, it kind of, like, keeps your brain learning and expanding, which kind of, like, keeps it in the right mode to learn the stuff that you do need to know. It just feels like that should be more balanced with, like, stuff that's relevant. Wouldn't it be that hard to adjust some stuff, though? Like English, I feel like being able to write well is a skill that I can use sometimes. But English class was, like, all about writing formal essays or, like, research papers or whatever. Not even research papers. Let's be real. That's something I picked up in other classes in college, but it was like, you know, analyzing a book or whatever. Like, how often are you going to use that unless you are an English major? Never. There are a million other things that you do end up needing to write in life that might need, like, a totally different tone than that.
Yeah. A completely different type of writing style, or, like, what you're writing for. Not like an essay denoting what you found or learned from this particular writing. It's always, from my experience, like, one second. I'm a piece of shit. Hello.
Transition complete. He's called upon his second persona to talk about this.
Hey there, it's me. I'm a piece of garbage. Okay, but I'm talking about this now. So, the writings that I usually go straight in the trash can with the rest of my belongings.
But going back, I think it's more or less like, obviously the English bit you still do that writing, like, oh, analyzing this and that, and I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I've never, like, I always almost fail at my English classes because I so despise doing them because they're just not entertaining to me.
Yeah.
But the things that I write mostly on are like letters or
Emails.
Those are like the writings that you usually do that you want to learn about how to write.
Communicating with other people.
Yes.
That's what's usually important.
Yeah, but you never.
And I feel like I've been lucky to end up with a more casual writing style that can work for that.
Mm-hmm.
But the only way that, at least in my experience in like the AP English classes I took, most of the kids in that class, the only way they felt like they could get decent grades is by like being super long-winded, using more words and bigger words than they needed to.
Mm-hmm.
Talking super formally, following like a really rigid structure.
Mm.
And like all of those things are bad things for almost all writing.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe like for a research paper, right?
Mm.
Or for literary analysis, like we were talking about, it can be good.
Yeah. I feel like, okay, let's go back a second. I feel like a lot of, and this can go for like all number of like types of classes and whatnot, but the idea that they teach you this using this method is a little concerning to me. I think the lesson that they're trying to get across is right, like to teach us how to do this or that, but the method is wrong. Like writing a research paper or this is just not entertaining for most people. And so they don't do it, and then they fail the lesson, and they don't do it, or they don't do it correctly, or they do it and they don't get a good grade on it because they didn't do it correctly. When the idea of the lesson you're trying to get across is how to research a topic rather than write about it. Right. And they're focusing on the writing about it aspect, I think. And so then they kind of like lose their lesson in that, and everyone just fucking hates it, and doesn't get the.
And in fairness,
the high school,
I imagine teaching
the U.S. teaching system, fantastic. By the way, if we haven't started this off with saying that, it's superb, superbly.
Yeah, in fairness, I feel like teaching well is probably harder than it seems, but also it's pretty important, so it feels like we should be putting more emphasis on making sure the people who are doing it are good at it, which there would probably be more incentive for that if they were actually like paid a decent amount of money. But like,
that's true. It doesn't seem like, it seems like they're trying to, for the teachers, trying to get like, okay, so you comprehend this very well, so you're able to teach about it. I think that's not. I think they should be focused more on like the okay, so you know how to talk to people and get them engaged or this or that, so you can teach them very very well on the subject. Not like your comprehension of it, but your ability to help others comprehend it.
Yeah. Dude, you know that Einstein quote that's like, if you can't explain it to a child, you don't understand it yourself?
I don't know that, but you know what? Keep going.
It's this. Okay. It gets used a lot to be like, oh, this person's like not as smart as they seem. But it's a really stupid quote to me because teaching people and understanding something are completely different 100%. Skills. Yeah. And I think especially that ends up happening for professors, and that's because being a professor at like a wealthy school is one of the best ways for them to get funding to research like whatever they want. So they'll teach not because they want to teach, but because they want to have a platform to like study what they're interested in.
Mm.
And that's probably less true for like, you know, high school and elementary school teachers. I think those people like specifically usually do want to teach people.
Yeah.
That said, some of them just seem like so tired of it.
I think those are the ones that have done it for long enough to become jaded by all the horrible kids that they've come to meet.
Some of the older ones are still into it, though.
Yeah, I know.
And those ones are fun because they have
really
like
cool
a lot
ones.
of experience and they still find joy in it, and that's really cool.
Man, hot takes, right?
Yep.
Hot take.
Yeah, we really just turned the slurp up to 11.
So here's a giant slurp for you to take in. About school. Oh, it's a dirty slurp.
Never say those words again.
Not in unison. Slurp dirty. Ooh. Look at you, looking like a dirty slurp there. You better watch out.
Garbo says, if she breathes, she's a slurp.
Yeah. Oh, when she breathes, she's a slurp.
Life is agony.
Life is a slurp. I feel it in my garbos. This is what they should be teaching kids in school. Have you heard about the legend of the Garbo Man?
No, can you please teach us calculus rules? Shut up!
Shut up!
You gotta hear about Garbo.
Now we've just... The bell rings. So that's the end of... Oh, the bell's rung. I guess I'll teach you more about Garbo the other day. Lesson? Oh yeah, just read that on your own. It's on page this or whatever. Good luck. I'll test you on it on Friday. Just, you know the teacher I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I had a teacher like that right in high school. Oh god. He was hilarious and great, but at the same time, he didn't teach us.
Not a single thing. I think I like...
All personality, no knowledge. Yo.
The class he was teaching us was like... I think it was supposed to be Gov and Economics, right?
Yes, yeah.
He didn't actually split it into two halves. It wouldn't have mattered if he did.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he did know about politics a decent amount.
Mm.
It just was hard to tell because usually he was talking about like his daughter's vacations or whatever.
His trips to Burning Man. I do love the in the quote unquote gov, he would be like, alright, so here's a topic. Fight. Essentially is like politics is about debating and fighting with each other. So everyone's gonna have, these different opinions on these things. And then you're gonna have to discuss them amongst yourselves and come to either agreement or, argue them. And that was like his philosophy because that's government to him.
Yeah.
And I remember all of our class agreed on the same viewpoint.
Yeah.
And he's like, wait, this is how it's supposed to go.
They're like,
It's almost like we're
look
all...
at you, you disgust me. If you kids were our Congress, then things would get done.
It's almost like we're all from the same generation, with the same generational viewpoint.
In the same state.
Oh my goodness. Oh, who would have guessed?
It's like, so are you in favor or opposed to school shootings? We're all like, Yeah, I'm good with those.
Yeah. Yo, listen, anything to get me out of here faster.
Was you gonna do? Shoot the cheese stick out of my hand?
Burger, why are you eating a cheese stick in class? What are you gonna do? Shoot the cheese stick out of my hand? Fucking, I'm going down. I'm gonna go down enjoying life, kid. Take another bite of my cheese stick.
Everyone's also just like up on the counter. One guy had like the chair ready. We're all just like sitting there doing our homework late.
Yeah, that alarm went off. We're like, and then we're like, yo, I got a homework due the next day, kid. I need to get this done.
I think it was homework that was supposed to be due like in that class, and none of us had done it.
Oh,
And then like the alarm went off. They're like, oh, there might be a school shooter, and we're like, sick. We got time to do our homework.
yeah, we got extra time. Kept holding us past the other classes. I know it was like, I hope, like, it went past, like, third and fourth period. I'm like, I hope it goes past fifth. Please, for the love of God. I was just sitting there like, please, keep it going, keep it going.
Dude, I know that technically, like, the generational divide can be kind of hazy sometimes for exactly where it is.
Mm-hmm.
But that day was, like, the most Gen Z I've felt in my life.
I think the most, what was the gen before Gen Z? Were the millennials?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The most millennial feeling I've had in my life was when I was talking to a partner who was definitely Gen Z, because she was like,
I feel like I know what you're
3
about
years,
to.
yeah. And she said good looks to me, and I was like, what? And like she said it with such confidence, like, oh, everyone's supposed to know this. Good looks, you know, like, thanks, like, thanks. And I was like, thanks? Like, almost offended, like, you say good looks to me and expect me to understand that means thanks? Excuse me? But internally, I'm like, I'm old. I'm so old. My
I can
age.
just imagine, like...
I rushed to the back.
I think it's about time I nay out of this one. And just, like, hobble over to
Better
the back.
whip and nay out of this situation. Fuck this. I go to the back, look in the mirror. My hair's grown and turned white and gray, salt, pepper, and I'm like, oh, these kids and their good looks.
It's just like all these ghosts of that person, like in the mirror, like, good looks, good looks.
And I'm like, no, please, make it stop. The trauma I've suffered on this day will last an eternity.
Imagine finishing your entire meal before you start your drink.
I mean,
Are you
soup's
imagining it?
yeah, I'm imagining it, and you know, it's a crazy thought, but you know, it'd be different if part of my meal wasn't already drink, and I'm having soup.
Yeah, you're enjoying those liquid chickens, those
Yeah.
liquid noodles.
What else am I going to enjoy? Some like solid noodles, some solid chicken.
Yeah, I mean, if you put something in a broth, it's a liquid.
It's a liquid.
Yeah,
it's a liquid. I'm glad we come to an agreement on that. Okay, we can move
Here,
on.
let me just take these, dip them in your soda real quick. I'm gonna drink your glasses real quick. I mean, the glass can't hurt you if it's liquid, right?
No, of course not. haven't you had liquid glass before?
Of course, all the time.
Yeah. That's why I'm...
I mean, if you drink something out of a glass, that glass is basically liquid.
Yeah, obviously. That's why I have to constantly keep buying glasses. Just to see the bullshit you're saying,
Just
right?
imagining that you're having dinner with someone, like all fancy and stuff, and you're like, man, I hate this part. You like pour water into your glass, and they're like, what? And you're like, man, I can't believe this is liquid now. And they're like, what? That's still just glass. You just like slam it down on the table and it shatters. You're like, Oh, look, there it goes. It melted all over the place. Not again. You're like, you start licking it off of the table. Your tongue's bleeding. You're like licking the glass.
Oh man, I hate that part. They're horrified, mortified. I was imagining you're like, oh, I hate this part. Like you pour your glass of wine and you're like, swirl around, and then you just eat the entire glass of the wine. And then, you're just like, it's like blood. You're like, oh, delicious. Oh, I love wine. Is this aged 10 years? Woo! I could taste it through all the blood in my mouth.
That reminds me of like some post I saw where people were talking about like, I think it was specifically about like their boyfriends who hadn't like ever cooked much before and kind of like taught themselves and were really garbage at it. And she was like, yeah, my boyfriend made pizza for us this one time. Put it in the oven. Once it was ready, he was like, oh man, I hate this part. Proceeded to open the oven and took it out with his bare hands, screaming the whole time.
He suddenly then turned into an Italian with like this. Oh, oh my hands!
All the flesh like fused together, making his hands like that.
Making his hands do the, oh, it's an Italian thing. Suddenly turned into Italian when he grabbed it too because he yelled, oh mamma mia! My hands!
He's like 3rd-degree burns and he's just going, Mamma Mia!
Oh, my pizzeria, it's burning down!
Today I'm cooking with garbo.
My hands, I hate this part. Oh, Mamma Mia! Oh, Luigi! Oh, Luigi, we gotta get to the Mushroom Kingdom. The pizza needs to come out of the oven. But Mario, we don't have the utensils to grab it out of the oven. What do you mean, Luigi? We just grab it with our hands. What are you?
Hey, Luigi, why don't you get back here and tell me what the fuck the utensil is?
Grabs pizza with his hands. You fucking idiot.
He's like, oh, are we gonna cut the pizza? He's like, get your own pizza. Shoves the whole thing in his mouth.
Mouth unhinges like a snake. What do you mean? What do you mean cut it up?
Oven with the pizza inside.
Luigi, I thought, what do you mean cut it up? Thought you were an Italian, you fucking schmuck. You lying to me? Oh. We a fucking fake half brother or something. Don't ever speak to me and my pizza again. How dare you? That's where my mouse goes. That's where my mouse and mouse pad goes.
You don't want burger on your mouse?
I already have that.
Exactly. So what's the deal?
I don't need more of it.
I mean, but you could have more of it.
Yeah. I could also be dead.
That's true. Why haven't you tried that? Are you really living if you haven't tried everything, including being dead?
You're right. You're right. Let me
I always am. It's because I've tried everything.
Let me tell you. Death? Actually pretty nice. Put a review on Death. 4 out of 5 stars. Wouldn't do again, but you know.
Can't do again. They said I'm not allowed back there.
Those jerks. That's why they're getting 4, not 5.
They said, How did you get in here? What do you mean back door? Really bad customer service, but otherwise a pretty chill place. I think I mentioned last night I was trying to beat the Oblobbles. So they're like, you fight them in the Coliseum of Fools. They barely count as bosses, to be honest.
Oblobbles.
Like,
That's one hell of a name, though.
yeah. Well, they look like it. They're like big round Orby boys that float around and bounce off the ceilings.
They look like it. They look like
they
Orbos.
look
Those
like
fucking
Oblobos.
Orbos looking
Look 'em up.
motherfuckers.
Look them up. If you saw them, you'd be like, yeah, that's an Oblobble right there.
Those Oblobos looking motherfuckers. Yeah, they look like Oblobos. Those fucking bitches. Looking ugly looking son of a bitch. I like
You're
how
gonna have to hit the E. Oh, those are ends.
mm-hmm.
Notice how one of the first results is Oblobble Radiant, because no one knows how to beat them on Radiant, because it's luck.
Oh,
Look at
those
that.
things.
Yeah, see, they're Oblobbles, am I right?